are Journals Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and wonderful teenagers.
I've been out there wandering.
And I've been in here wondering what you guys are up to. Because we're going to have a splendid show talking about all the stuff that really matters in life. And our musical guest this evening, or this afternoon, or whenever you're listening, whatever time of day it may be in your time zone, our musical guest will remain Mozart. Give it up for...
Wow, Mozart's here. Oh my God.
Back from the dead.
Yes.
And
I
a woman.
changed a little
and as
bit.
a woman and blonde. And
Yeah, I
Yes,
changed a little
much
bit.
has changed. But, you know, there's a little bit of everybody and all of us. And so she's embodying... Well, you took on this name Mozart because you were inspired by the music of...
Yes, by Mozart, yeah. But also, when I was 5 months old, I stood up in a music together class, and I clapped in time to the music, and apparently that's uncommon. So all the moms were like, oh, you've got a little Mozart on your hands.
But did they pronounce it Mozart?
They pronounced it Mozart, but I say Mozart because Mozart is like the German way of saying it, but like Mozart is the
But how did he say it?
Mozart.
So shouldn't we say it the way he said it?
Well, like, it's like Wagner.
Right?
We pronounce it Wagner, but
No, we say Wagner.
really?
In classical music, that's the only place where we stick to the pronunciation. When it comes to the names of cities or towns, we're ridiculously horrible. So they could call it one thing and we'd be like, no, it's Paris. Sorry. All of France is wrong. It is not Paris. It's Paris.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the names of composers, somehow we're willing, or maybe even artists. No, I don't think with art like Van Gogh, I'm sure. Anyway, we could get sidetracked so easily here. The point is, you like to pronounce it Mozart, which is how it looks in English. And so as you go about your career, do you have Mozart with a last name or just...
It's just Mozart.
I think you should add a last name. Because for the sake of Googling.
Well, actually, if you Google Mozart, I show up on the first page.
No, not when I'm looking.
Really?
Yeah. Turns out this Mozart put out a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
good. He was
did.
good. Anyway, we'll talk about social media later. It's not my business because you guys know what you're doing, and and you do it quite well because you are a world traveler.
I am.
Yes. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah. When I was 5, my parents packed up everything. We sold our house, and we started traveling around the world, and we've been doing that for the past 10 years. But then we moved back to the United States in 2014, and we moved to Los Angeles in September.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Pursuing your dreams?
Yes.
So are you happy or do you feel like, oh, when are we going to pack? Because what time are we leaving? I mean, does it feel weird to just stay?
I mean, sometimes it feels weird, but it's nice to have a little stability. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to just be in one spot and have my friends and, you know.
Do I know what you mean? I don't like to go anywhere. I like
job.
days where there's nowhere I have to be. Those are my favorites. But do other people know what you mean is the question.
Do you know what I mean?
yes.
You know, Leah knows what I mean.
All right, so who wants to ask Mozart about her favorite country?
What's your favorite country?
Go ahead, Kenneth.
I mean, you just asked it.
Go for it, Kenneth. Go for Kenneth.
Where's your favorite country? Please tell me. I really want to know.
Oh my God. It's Spain because I'm actually half Spanish.
Okay.
And how is that?
He's getting off to a great start.
He's going to get his own show so fast.
It's just gonna be like whispering. It's like, okay,
It's a whisper show. Starring Kenneth.
So
Why do you like Spain?
Hi, my name's.
Just wondering.
I like Spain a lot.
So why don't you talk about we're going to talk more about your world travels because I do want to hear a little bit about that. And maybe next week, a slideshow. Thank you. But right now, would you like to introduce the song that you're going to do?
Yes.
Okay.
This is an original song of mine. It's called Fade Away. And I wrote it as kind of an anthem for young people. Like, this is our time. We're gonna rock this place. So yeah, this is Fade Away. This is our time, this is our life, 'cause we'll jump and we'll fall,
It will be hard, but we'll get strong and we'll learn how to move on. And then we will soar higher than before. We will grow old someday and we will start to fade, but for now we will never fade away. No matter where we go, we'll never really know, but for now we will never fade away. We'll never fade away. We are the sun, we are the light, and we fall from the sky. We're the cosmos, we're the shooting stars, and it's our time to ignite. And then we will soar higher than before. We will grow old someday and we will start to fade, but for now we will never fade away. No matter where we go, we'll never really know, but for now we will never fade away. We'll never fade away. Paint the city in our colors, oh, oh, 'cause they can't shut us down, no, oh, oh. For now we're here to stay away. We'll never fade away, we'll never fade away. We will grow old someday and we will start to fade, but for now we will never fade away. No matter where we go, we'll never really know, but for now we will never fade away. Never fade away.
That was so good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That was really, really beautiful. And you wrote that?
I did.
What age were you when you started writing songs?
I started like writing songs when I was a baby, but seriously, I started writing songs when I was about 12, and like really, really seriously when I was 13.
So you always had that kind of in you.
I love writing songs.
First song title?
What do you mean?
What's your first song title?
Oh, my first song title. Oh my god. I don't remember.
That's a good song title.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Come on, lyrics.
That's my favorite one.
Oh.
Such a good
I
one.
listen to it every time.
Yeah, it always brings back. No, it doesn't, because I don't remember.
Ah!
Hey, let's
Another
just dive
one.
into questions, because we're going to handle all kinds of questions and help everybody feel better about everything and things. Anonymous writes, my ex got his best friend to break up with me for him through text and never talked to me again himself. Would you consider this a rude/bad thing to do? Would most guys do that in that way? So you know when you're just so new to relationships that you don't even... You don't even know whether you have the right to be like really pissed. You have the right to be really pissed. I don't think you're ever too young to be respectful. That's just chicken. That's not a cool way to do it. And just because he's young, I'm not going to give him. I think he knew better. And you knew to ask the question. You knew to even say like, this is not good, correct? And we are confirming, not good. Victoria, you're nodding your head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. So, but the question is, would most guys do it that way? So we can't really offer you any help other than you're going to get over him and you will giggle about this one day, Mozart.
Yeah, I think he should have respected you enough to break up with you to your face, honestly, because you deserve at least that much.
Right, but let's say they're 12. I do think that there's no point in saying to him, hey, why were you so disrespectful? I think you just need to put it behind you and keep moving forward. Lyric?
Yeah, I just think this is not like a moral thing, or what's that word? I guess that's the word, right? Like just like something that a good person that you would want to be with would do. So I hope that you've like now kind of seen maybe like you're looking back on the relationship and maybe thinking like, oh, that could have been a sign like what kind of guy he is. And then maybe in the future you can hopefully have, if you break up with someone, have a nice breakup. I just think this sucks. I'm so sorry that had to happen to you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the least you deserve is a nice, the least.
The least.
I'm like, the most you deserve.
After that point,
Harsh lyric.
The
Wow.
least you deserve is to have a nice breakup. Yeah, Ken.
yeah, I mean, we can all agree that that was not a great way to handle it, but we got to understand, I mean, if they're young and if this is probably the first time he did it, he doesn't know what he was doing, obviously. I mean, no one in their right mind is going to be like, I'm going to hurt you by asking my friend to break up with you. Like,
No, but you know that place in life where you recognize that the hard thing is often the right thing, and you have to just do the hard thing. He wasn't willing to. Josh.
Yeah, just agreeing with what Lyric and Kenneth had said, like, and touching on the second question that was asked by this person, would most guys do it in that way? Probably not. However, each breakup's going to be different, and you may come across it again. However, I don't think this is going to be the standard.
There used to be a thing called a Dear John letter. This is before texting. I'm dating myself. But like when some guy would go off to war and he'd get a Dear John letter, they called it a Dear John letter because it always like John is a Janon is a generic name. John is a generic name, and usually it just begins with Dear John. I guess, this time apart has led me to believe that maybe things aren't going to work out. And like some poor soldier sleeping in a ditch is just like, oh, dang. But yeah, so people broke up via the writing of words always. That didn't ever make it the right thing to do.
Yeah.
kind of want to do that now. Like, whenever you break up with someone, just like,
And call
"Dear
her John, yeah.
Yeah, just like, I'm not
Dear
even John.
No, I just want to know. I mean, I just want to know from the guys if that's something that you
Yeah,
would
good
do.
question. Good question. Guys, have you at any
Dear
age,
John.
or has any girl at any age broken up with? Because girls can do half the breaking up,
I mean,
right?
You go, girl.
So has anyone broken up via the written word with anybody?
I mean, I've never done it that way. And
Mozart's usually like, I'm in Tasmania, and like, there's an Arctic Sea that separates us. Like, she always had this really good, like, yes, we're on the Mojave. I'm sorry, I can't see you. Literally, I cannot see you. You're a continent away. I mean, right?
Yes.
Yes.
She's like, sure. Okay.
But no, I've never done it this way. And I mean, honestly, don't be surprised. I mean, I'm not saying like it's totally fun if it happens again, but just it's things like guys are becoming less and less able to do the right thing, I guess, when it comes to breaking up with
No,
people.
I think there's always been guys or girls that don't do the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I'm saying they did it. They'd leave a message on your machine then when they knew you were at work, when people had machines.
No,
I mean,
I'm
there
for-
was
yeah.
always a way to not face the person.
No, for sure. I mean, I would say it's pretty common. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like it is pretty common, but it's just still not like
Right.
you don't want to be a guy who's going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with like, yes, it's common to break up through text or through the letters like you were talking about. However, like what set this apart is that he didn't even have the guts to do it himself. He had his friend do it. That's
yeah,
what's not
it's
okay with
awful.
me.
Okay.
Victoria?
Yeah.
I think he was just scared.
Yeah. for
That's
sure.
that's just it. I don't think he was trying to be rude to you. I think he was just like, "Ooh, do you do it for me?" Like,
Back to my point. The hard thing is often the right thing. And
Yeah.
you have to learn at a certain age that in order to feel good about yourself, you have to do hard things. Kenneth?
You're right, but I feel like at that age, I feel like the friend. I feel like it wasn't his first idea. I don't feel like he was like, "Oh, hey, can you break up with this person for me?" I feel like the guy was probably like,
Friend was
"Oh,
like,
hey,
I got this.
I got this, fam. I'll break it up. I'll break up for you."
I got this, bro. Yeah, he would be like, I got you, bro. I'll do it for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And then he breaks up and he's like, my friend doesn't want to be with you. Bye. I guarantee that is what happened.
But you do have a right to feel like, okay,
Lyrics guaranteed.
uncool. And, I'm sorry it happened, but
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
get over it. All right, anonymous writes, my mom has a boyfriend, which is great, but he says mean things to me. How do I tell him that he's hurting me without him getting upset at me? Well, why are you worried about him being upset when you're upset? Like, not that mean should match mean to fix mean. Like, mean can't fix mean. It's just two means. But he's not worrying about your feelings, so you need to say how you're feeling.
Adults are terrifying as a kid, though.
But
They're kind
not to your stepfather, to your mom.
No, because you have more of a relationship with your mom than your stepdad.
Yeah, that's
but
why
like
she's
it's
saying
like
to talk
she
to your
married
mom.
the guy, and so don't take him on, but like don't worry about hurting his feelings when you go to your mom and just say he's hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
Victoria?
Gosh, I had it and then I lost it.
Well, the point that when sometimes people are so polite that they'll write a letter where they're saying, "Oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings," when they're coming from a place of already feeling hurt. Go ahead.
I just think maybe he doesn't know that he's actually hurting your feelings. You know how like sometimes you play with someone and you're just like, oh, you have like a big head or whatever, and then they'll actually
all the time.
yeah, all the
You
time.
have many big body items.
Or like maybe he just thinks that he's trying to bond with you, and that it's a little bit awkward, and he thinks that's because that's how he treats everybody else. That's how to do it.
I think I just lost lyric.
You did.
I meant to say body parts, and I said body items, like that's a thing that exists on planet
It was
Earth.
awful.
It's like,
It was awful.
hey, you have,
No, it's awful
you have
because it
really
made me laugh
big
and I
feet and really big knees.
He's like,
and
he's like,
just
you have a
really
big head.
You have a
You have a
gigantic
big head.
ear. Only one of your ears is huge. The
Like-
other one is fine.
I know
one
that-
big arm.
What?
No, I see what you're saying. Cause
Like my
people-
sisters and I, we joke around and all. And we're like, "Oh, you have a big head or whatever." We do, but like,
your sisters
there's-
have perfect heads.
I know we're just joking.
Come on,
Those
are you
so
serious,
big.
Victoria? Like, how can you get to that amount of savagery where you're talking about people's heads that way?
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Really, Victoria.
That's how we.
Hashtag
You have a
don't
big
call-
head, savage.
That's how we do it. That's just how we are. We just joke around. We don't mean it.
Mozart.
You know.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. He may just not realize that
Yeah.
at a certain age you have to stop saying things about a girl because they get really sensitive. Mozart.
Well, first thing I would do is talk to your mom about it. Just tell her, because it says that he's her mom, or his or her. We don't actually know if it's a guy or a girl. But
Your mom has a boy. Yeah, it could be a boy writing. Yeah.
since they're not married, I think you should like talk to your mom, and so your mom can talk to her boyfriend, because if it's getting out of hand, then it's not healthy for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you were the mom, you'd want to know if your daughter felt hurt by your boyfriend. So give your mom that respect that she wants to help you, and that she just may not realize that he's hurting your feelings, Josh.
Yeah, I agree exactly with what Mozart said. And like at the end of the day, like how do you tell him? In this case, I would suggest also telling the mom, not going to the boyfriend. And how you tell her is just tell her. Like you can't worry about what the reaction is going to be, because at the end of the day, you don't know what the reaction is going to be. And worrying about it is only going to cause yourself more upsetness and stress.
Yeah, and and I really do believe that kids need to come first, and I don't think kids always realize that they're supposed to be coming first. They don't realize that they have a right to say something when they feel that there's someone who's entered the household who's hurting me. It's not my dad, it's someone that my mom is dating, so the resentment just starts to build and build and build until eventually you're a teenager and you're yelling mean things at him, and you don't want it to get to that point. Lyric?
Yeah, I mean, I just think like if your mom and her boyfriend were to get married.
Married.
Oh, we lost Lyric again.
Lyric has the giggles.
I mean,
Again.
Oh God, married.
Yes.
Then like, I don't think you would have. God. It would be hard for you if he's like this mean person for you to be, living together with them. And I think that if you get it figured out now before, the relationships gets taken further, like that's going to be so much better. You will feel so much better. And if he's not able to correct this behavior and it's really being damaging to you, you might have to say to your mom, I don't think you should be with him because I don't feel comfortable. I mean, I know that it's her relationship, but it's also who are having, I'm guessing you might live with your mom and her boyfriend some of the time. I mean, it's you who's going to have to deal with that. And so if you're uncomfortable, you got to talk to your mom.
And the thing about the question is we don't know how mean the things are. We don't know if they're teasing things like Victoria thinks they may be, or if they're things like that are just really unacceptable to say to a child. So,
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to I can't say that screen name. I don't know how people.
It's Sasha Katz.
Okay, that's really good. You guys read screen name. I need to take a
When
class.
you're
Wow,
young.
Sam.
So I've caught feelings for a guy. He's really cute and funny and kind, and whenever we're near, I just really want to talk to him. In 2 weeks, he's moving out of state. What do I do? Do I try and prevent myself from catching further feelings for him? Do I wait it out and see what happens? I'm going to go to Mozart because she's moved to many different continents, and this may have come up.
Well, I would say that you're going to meet tons of cute and funny guys in your lifetime. And long distance relationships are really hard. And they're really, they can be really painful because it's hard not to be around the person that you really like or love. So I would honestly say prevent yourself from catching feelings, because at the end of the day, there's going to be more cute and funny guys for you to catch feelings for.
Very well said. Lyric.
Girl, I'm going to have to disagree in a certain way, because I'm saying I think that you should just enjoy the time that you have with him. And I'm not saying to prevent catching feelings. I love how they put this. I got a feeling.
Yeah, you can go out.
I
and
got
buy
a
these,
feeling. I can buy out and just catch them with a net.
Feeling nets, and you
Yeah,
can
exactly,
go out and catch yourself some feelings, and then you put them in a jar
cute.
with your lightning bugs.
And then just
throw it in the ocean. Okay. No, I think yeah, because I mean, you're gonna just feel like you have to avoid him, and then that's gonna just turn into a lot of different things if you're trying to not get any further feelings. So I think you should just enjoy the time and just be enjoy it while you have it, and then once it's over, like Mozart said, you will find other people that are just the same. I mean, maybe, and then if he moves back, or if you see each other, oh, hey, and then maybe something will happen. But I definitely think just enjoying the time you have and just forgetting about it.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Okay, Josh?
Yeah, I'm going to really agree with what Lyric said and only half of what Mozart said.
Okay.
Because I'm in a long-distance relationship, and
Have you caught feelings?
Well, yeah.
Where do you keep them?
A chew
feeling.
I don't know. But at the end of the day, it is difficult, and that is something that I do have to deal with on a daily basis, because we are in a relationship, and the distance is something that it's a big thing. And for me, this person already has the feelings. It's not something that prevent catching them. They already have the feelings.
Yeah.
So it's what Lyric said, go for it and enjoy the time you have right now. And if it goes to long distance, and if you're willing to work on things, I would not suggest working on things if you're super young, because you have to the traveling is the big thing with long distance relationships. So if you're young, it's most likely not going to work out, and I'm sorry, but
it could be a long distance pen pally kind of fun friendship to have as you continue growing up.
yeah.
No,
I don't think that's.
you don't think that's?
I
a good
don't
idea?
think that.
Okay.
I don't think that happens anymore. Sadly.
In my dreamy mind, it's
I mean, your
only
dreamy mind
Weezy
is great.
can have a pen pal.
But
I have a.
the amount of
I want to
sadness.
catch feelings from my pen pal, can't I?
But wait, no.
Why can't I, Kenneth?
Why can't I, Kenneth? Why?
Okay.
But you're saying it unplugs you from real life, and
I'm
you're
just
just
saying-
running home to check your messages instead
Exactly.
of being with
It's
people.
honestly just gonna. Your life has enough struggles in it, and
Yeah.
I feel like this would create more obstacles for you. And I'm not saying just completely throw this person out of your life or anything. That's an awful idea. But I mean, be friends with this person. Don't completely eliminate them, but learn that it's gonna have to end, and they're not gonna be. I mean, still talk to this person when they leave, but I'm just telling you, a relationship's not really the best idea. Josh.
So, Josh, how did it work for you? And when did you decide to stay together, even though you were going to be apart?
Actually, when I moved, we had not even considered being in a relationship. It formed after I had moved, just from knowing each other for a long time. And at the end of the day, I don't necessarily recommend having a serious relationship at a young age, because it does hinder the growth that you have in certain years of your life. And at the end of the day, in a long distance relationship, though, both of you have separate lives and are able to still have that growth, but still have that connection, because you guys want to work on that relationship. So whenever the distance may close in the future, that you still did have those years of development and learning who you are in your life. So for me, that's what I'm experiencing. I don't necessarily agree with Kenneth saying you have to end it. So
Mozart?
Yeah, I would say I agree with Lyric, and I think that's what I was trying to say earlier, but I didn't phrase it quite right. Enjoy the time that you have, and I would suggest trying to maintain a friendship while they're gone, because I have a lot of long distance friends, and they were some of my best friends. I may not be friends with all of them now, but they were some of my best friends. And I would just say maintain a friendship, because if they do move back, something could happen, and it's good not to have lost all that time.
Right. I mean, I'm kind of recommending friendship. That's what a pen pal kind of means is not to say that you wouldn't date other people, but to say like, oh, this person, they get me and I want to keep that person in my life because friendships are very valuable. There's only one person at a time that you would be dating. Lyric.
Well, I think the only thing is they never said that she or he, I don't know, asked them out. And so they're not actually a couple.
Right. Good
so
point.
I just wanted to mention that because there is no long distance relationship because they're not in a relationship.
And he hasn't
so
moved yet.
I think they're one. We don't know if this is a guy. Do we know
It's
if
a
this?
girl.
Oh, it's a girl.
No, it could be a guy.
Sasha is a boy's name.
Sasha.
Oh, Sasha.
I know
There you
girls
go.
that are Sasha. But
Yeah.
let's just say they may be wondering, should I ask him out now? Like before I leave. And I'm just saying, I don't think so. Or her out. Is this a guy or a girl? Oh, yeah, it's a guy.
It could be a girl
yeah.
because Sasha Obama is a girl.
Yeah,
and she
exactly.
writes
So we don't
all
know.
the time.
But I'm just saying, I don't think asking him out right now while he's about to leave is a good idea.
Thanks, Obama.
People call me Lyrock Obama. Like
Oh,
Barack
that's cute.
Thank you so much.
Why?
Oh,
Why?
This is great.
that's so cute.
All right, we're going to move on to the next
Lyrock
question.
Obama.
Who would like to read a question? It's time
Me.
to move on. Lyric.
I'm gonna get the long one.
You get a long one. Yeah.
I'm a freshman in high school. Every day at lunch, I eat with my friends. I have grown up with 5 of them, and one of them just joined our squad, and the other one is one of my best friends that I made this year. Some of my other friends don't really talk to her because they think she shouldn't really sit with us. Today, 3 of the friends that I grew up with were absent. Me and my best friend that I met this year were the first to sit at our lunch table. 2 friends were walking towards us, and then they stopped and turned around. They met up with some other friends and sat down. They looked back at us and gave us a dirty look and kept laughing like I didn't care. I feel really betrayed. What should I do? How would you guys feel if you were in my shoes? Sorry,
I'm going to throw to the panel because I would have a lot to say and none of it would be of any value. Because this is all kind of lunchroom dynamics and you guys are closer to kind of experiencing that. Who has it's to me it sounds like the friend group is sort of breaking up and you got to kind of let that go. But you could walk up to one of the people that were walking away and just say, "So, do you not like Cindy?" But then I don't know, it opens the door to all this like, well, he said, she said, Mozart.
I was going to say you're a freshman and high school is about making new friends, dropping friends, and most likely you're probably not going to be friends with all of them after you graduate. So it's really about just putting yourself with the best group of people that will make you a better person. And if these people aren't making you feel good about yourself and they're not treating you how you feel you should be treated, then you shouldn't be friends with them, because it's really in like these crucial ages. I know for me, it's really important to be aware of the people you hang out with and make sure that you're happy when you're around them.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing anything overt to her. They just don't like her new bestie. And they're making that kind of clear. Like, like there's been an interloper. And this is our way of stating it. Kenneth.
So to answer one of your questions, how would you guys feel if I were in your shoes? Awful.
Yeah,
That's an
we don't feel
awful
bad.
thing to go through.
Yeah.
First of all. And second of all, I don't feel like you should be friends with these people anymore. And I feel like you know that yourself, but don't try to reignite the relationship that you used to have, because it sounds like these people aren't good for you at all. They are doing this purely to get on your nerves by the way that they turned around and started laughing. Like, it's not like they're actually laughing at a joke. They were trying to bother you intentionally. The fact that they even like went to the table, turned around and left. I just feel like you shouldn't be friends with these people anymore.
Well,
and
if you really like this new...
should stay with the one that you
and
currently
kind
are
of a
with.
natural thing. How many people went to like public or like not homeschool, but who went to high school? Kenneth. Yeah. You know how like in freshman year, like the groups start to like migrate because people are more drawn to their interests. And you could speak to this if you wish. Mickey will get you over here if you want to speak to it. But the groups, they start to just kind of find their own path. And sometimes it's a little bumpy and someone's a little mean about it, but there's a natural flow of people finding better fits. There's like these friendships of convenience that happen in grammar school and in middle school. And it's like whoever's like kind of like geographically close or in your class. And then in high school, you have a little bit more independence to find a better fit. And that may be what's happening here. Lyric.
So 2 things. One, I think you may be asking for like us to be like, yeah, you are, what you're feeling is not that you're going insane. And I mean, really, this is such a good reaction for you to have. If you were just like, oh my God, we're totally fine, I would be like, no, like that's a sign. And if they were true friends, they would not be doing this. This is not what friends do. I mean, I have friends that are like even if I'm sitting with another person, they still are like wanting to hang out with me. I mean, that's just not something that a good friend would do. So I think you should definitely like go with your gut feeling and be like, yeah, I do feel betrayed. I don't think these are people that I want to be friends with. Or if you're like, I can overlook this, like, fine. But I just don't think that if they're jealous, like we're saying, like, that's just so rude of them to do that.
Yeah, but can I also say that there's sometimes motives that you don't even know about? Like, let's say your new best friend, let's say some boy likes her, that one of those girls that walks away likes that boy. I mean, there can be all kinds of reasons that have nothing to do with what you're thinking. It's just someone doesn't want to be around someone because they see it as competition for a boy. Kenneth?
No, I mean, I feel like if there were real friends, that wouldn't really be an issue. For like adding new friends to your group.
You'd be surprised at what
don't
girls
know.
will do when they feel threatened.
If they feel that way, then then you shouldn't be friends with those people.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the ultimate thing is just don't be friends with them.
If someone gets jealous about that doesn't mean they're particularly the best person. They would talk to you about it other than...
But as I've said before in previous shows, kids are really just reacting. They're not the most thoughtful people. If they feel scared, hurt, or potentially wounded, they'll just react and try to eliminate someone who's a threat. Josh?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that they're not friends. I don't think currently you should be friends with these people. However, like at that age when you're younger, there's like you said, they're just reacting, and there's a lot of, they can't tell the difference between commitment and attachment, and a lot of times that is like, I'm committed to you as a friend, and now that you're having a new friend, I'm worried that our like closeness is going to be gone.
Sure, it could be just
and
jealous of that.
And they act out in a certain way to make you feel bad, so that way you can either get rid of the new friend, or they want you to get rid of the new friend. It's like an ultimatum. It's actually it's like an ultimatum of the friendship. And that's what happens when you can't separate commitment versus attachment. Throwing it to
Mickey.
Hello. I'm thrown at. I completely agree with Josh. There are going to be people who will give you the ultimatum and who will make it their purpose to live that way in high school. Every single person around you, especially as a freshman, is going to go through a different type of growth into either specifically in their studies or within themselves. There are going to be a lot of people who will mess with you. Maybe you'll accidentally do that to someone and you won't know, and you'll just be thrown into these situations with friendships that will help you grow. Everyone is at your place right now. Everyone wants to find a place that's comfortable. So you need to do it too. If you're more comfortable with this new friend, then stay with her, become her best friend, be the buddies, and let them do their own kind of gross thing of ditching and see over there, that girl, like you don't have to be a part of that. They might have been great people in your life, but that can change.
Yeah,
as everyone will change during high school.
Yeah, and they may be again, and they're just being like really 14 or 15 right now.
Yeah.
I actually just thought of something. Don't continue the whole I'm not going to talk to you and we're just going to give each other bad looks. I mean, that's just honestly going to create more of an issue. Just try talking to them about it. Be like, why did you do that? Is it a problem with the friend? You don't need to feel threatened. Like if you feel like it's something where it's like, like being threatened of friendship and this person's going to ruin the group, then talk to them about it. And if they choose not to and just keep going with the way that they're acting, then you shouldn't be friends with them. But talk to them first, because that's just going to make things worse if you...
Yeah, you can always try doing that, but don't do it when your other friend is present. Just do it on your own. All right. Anonymous writes, I really like this kid at school, but my sister also likes him. I'm too afraid to tell him that I like him. If I tell my sister, she will freak out and try to make me look bad so he can't like me. It's not the first time she's done it. What should I do?
Oh, girl!
Your sister has superpowers? She can just go, you don't like my sister. Like, really, honestly, like if he actually likes you, I don't know that someone can talk him out of that, but I get that you don't want to compete with your sister over a guy. And who has advice or who's been there?
Gosh.
Mozart?
I honestly wouldn't try to compete with your sister over a guy because, like I was saying earlier, there's going to be more guys. And
More guys.
There's going to be more guys. There's always going to be
That's
more
your
guys.
your campaign slogan.
There's guys everywhere. And what was I saying?
That's
just
all I
like
have to say.
that. That's on your trucker hat. More guys.
There's guys everywhere.
At your rallies. More guys. Guys.
Guys.
Go ahead.
Because you're sisters, and this is a guy. It's like you shouldn't ruin. I mean, you're not going to ruin your relationship, but you shouldn't really ruin per se your relationship with your sister over this one guy, because there will be other guys, and if you will lose feelings for this guy eventually because you're probably young, and that happens.
No, you're
Right,
old.
But Mozart, what about
young.
that she has a sister who would throw her under the bus like that? Like,
that's what I was gonna say.
okay, so you want to address that? Okay, go ahead, Eric. Yeah.
Because so this is her game that she's playing.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the way you play the game. If I'm
All
gonna
right.
teach you.
Please take
Okay.
notes.
Yes. So if you go to like the guy and you whatever, and then she'll tell him why not to like you. Then if you back off, then she'll go be with him. So it's like, what are you going to choose? Just like letting her be with him and feeling awful, or trying to still be with him, and then whatever she says is going to be what she says, but you'll know that you didn't back down.
Yeah.
Kenneth, doesn't the
mean-
guy have a say?
No. Are you serious? Why
Yes.
would
Like,
you
is
say
it totally
that?
up to these two girls
What
which
are you
one of them?
thinking, Louise? No.
The guys don't know.
The guys have
an
no
item.
say.
Oh, but oh wait, actually, did you need to say something, Josh? You've been like
Victoria, and then I was
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
You're so cute.
Which one?
All of you.
doesn't-
I think she was talking to me, actually.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Go
wait,
ahead,
it
Victoria.
says that it says that she hasn't even told her yet. So why is she worried about it?
Because she said she's done it in the past. Like she sees these patterns. And she's
Are you
afraid that, like,
sure?
she doesn't have a girl. Like, you have sisters. Can you go to them and tell them who you like without them running off and telling the guy, like, oh, yeah, here's why Victoria is a no-go for you? Like,
No.
would they do that?
To be honest, like
You're like, I don't know.
I feel like they
I
No.
mean, they do weird things sometimes. They'll tell people like the weirdest things about me, and I'm just like, okay, sure, that's me. Like, if you don't like it, then I'm sorry.
Take it or
But
leave
like,
it.
I don't. If you like him, then I don't. Because there's been a time where my sister likes a boy, but he turns out to like me, and I'm just like, no, thank you. But I didn't like him back, so
Right. And there's no way of proving that to her because she still thinks you're trying to steal
No,
him.
because I didn't ever tell her.
All right. See, I'm
She's
thinking,
watching
like,
right now in horror.
Like, Josh, does she even have to tell her sister she likes this guy? Can't she just get to know the guy?
She could, however,
Yeah.
I'm actually going to probably be the bad guy on this
All right, go.
on this question, because honestly, like you said, see the patterns, and from what I'm reading in this is that every single time that your sister likes a guy, you end up liking the guy, and you won't tell your sister.
But
Because-
we don't know who liked who first.
Well, it says right here, like, my sister likes him, so she obviously knew her sister likes him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's like
All
that's
right.
already the issue there. Like her
Oh
sister's
my
been
God,
talking.
Josh.
Her sister has been
Josh.
talking to her about this guy,
You speak
and
teen.
now
How do
like
you
she's
do
like
this?
liking this guy now, and it's like, for me, like, if you want to look at patterns, like, look at what, like, the behaviors that you're putting into the situation. Like, she threw you under the bus the last time, but that's because she liked the guy first, most likely. In this situation, it sounds like that the same thing's gonna happen if you tell her. Like,
Kind of.
Okay, so I have two ways to go through this, and everyone's gonna disagree with me on this one. I'm like certain. So one is, either be like, you know what, I don't like this guy that much. There are more guys.
Yay!
Or-
More guys.
You know what? Just like throw her under the bus on this one. I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Kenneth,
you
we don't
date a
want to
girl
do
that
any
says
bus
nasty-
throwing. I'm
I
sorry.
mean,
Kenneth, you would date a girl that says nasty things about her sister? Like, that's not loyal.
Or okay, maybe not that, but be like, my sister. Be like, I like you. My sister has thrown me under the bus before with other guys.
because she liked him first.
Yeah, that's.
So
well, we don't know the ages, so it's like
Wow, Josh.
I'm just saying, tell warn the guy that
If
there's
you're-
a storm coming.
See, we need
Be
more.
like-
Yeah.
Comes walking in with like
So he
black
can get
mascara. Get Carrie Underwood.
She's like,
So he
here
can-
is your 5-day forecast. This
So he
is
can
what's
run.
coming in this storm front called
On Monday, we have
Stephanie.
the slight.
a slight chance
Her
of
hair
betrayal.
will be greasy.
All right,
Oh.
so
Then on Tuesday, she will.
here's what we don't know, you guys. We don't know, like, if you're 12 and she's 15 and you have a crush on some 15-year-old that likes her, that she likes, then it's like, yeah, you're out of your league. Let the 15-year-olds like each other. You can have a crush on your sister's guy, but you're probably not going to date him yet. Victoria.
Okay, so if her whole thing is that she needs to not like this guy anymore, there's a way you can like do that, and it's very simple.
What is this magic you speak of?
Okay, so there is a verse in 1 Corinthians, and it's very famous. So it says, love is charity, love is kind, love is, and it continues on. So if you put the name instead of love in there, then you can determine whether he is kind, if he's nice, and if that's not so, then you'll figure out that he's not really the one for you.
What about if she also puts her own name there?
Yeah, we do
She's
that
not the
too,
one.
so that you can see whether you're love, you're kind, or you know what I mean.
Or do you just want what you want
But what
and
if
get away from
what
your
if she
sister?
says that he is love and kind and whatever?
But
mean-
that's the thing, you don't know. So, how is this person so perfect for you?
Right.
Like, if you'll realize how much you know about this person as soon as you do that. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a Bible, or if you don't like believe in God or anything, you can just look it up online, and it'll pop up.
It would help to know their ages too. Because
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
she's like more than a year
Well,
older
but
than
what
you,
if they're the same age?
they might be the same age.
I,
There's just
I
so
get
much
the
we
feeling
don't.
that they're the
Maybe
same age.
reapply.
So much we don't
What
know.
if they're
Resend the-
twins?
Maybe
That's
resend
what I
the
said.
question with more information, more specificity. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's a word.
Specifically,
But
Kenneth.
Specificity.
more,
More
specifically,
specificity.
and we can give you a better answer.
Yeah, we'll give you a better answer. All right. Anonymous writes, how do I help a friend who is really insecure about how she looks? You know, there's only so much telling a person that they're pretty that you can do, right? Because they have to believe it too, right, Mozart?
Yes, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it all comes from the inside. And if you can tell her how pretty she is all the time, but if she still thinks, oh, they're just saying that, I'm not actually that pretty. They're just saying that to make me feel better. It has to come from the inside, honestly. I've learned that about myself because I have to be confident in myself. If other people tell me I'm pretty, sometimes I don't believe them, but I have to be confident in myself and believe that I am pretty.
Well, you are pretty.
Oh, thanks.
And also, it's not just about how we look. And I know that everybody puts a lot of emphasis on that because society does. But just when you're feeling unpretty, cultivate something else in yourself that day. That's what I would do. Lyric.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna say, and I was also just gonna say friends are obligated to tell you that you're pretty. Like that's just part of the package
Double
deal.
tap.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
obligated to tell me I'm pretty, Lyric.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always do Mozart.
Well, it's in
but
your contract.
But it's because it's true. But okay,
So
but
what if
if
your
you have
friend's
someone
ugly?
who's butt ugly, I'm totally kidding. No, but yeah, I mean that's just kind of part of it. So yeah, it definitely needs to come from within, and some ways that you can. I mean, there's only a certain point where you can help them, but some ways that you can help her is to be like, you list off all of the things that she does that are great, and be like, now to me that's what's pretty, and looks come after. I mean, it's really true, because I know people all the time that are maybe not the most attractive, but they're with someone who's maybe more attractive than them. I don't know, that's just a subjective opinion, but then it's because of personality. I mean, there are some people that just base on looks, but the person that you want to be with is someone who loves you for your personality. So sorry, this is a long answer, but say to your friend, look at how great you are, and you're also pretty, but focus on that. And I just think that it takes a while, but that will help you.
Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said, and I think that there's only so much that you can do and say to someone else, and at the end of the day, you're not responsible for how they feel unless you're the one causing, in saying things to them that are hurtful and harmful to, and adding to this behavior of theirs. And then I would also like to add, having the people you surround yourself with do influence how you eventually start to think. And while this friend, like, it kind of goes back to conversations we've had before, like with friends that are like suicidal or having self-harm thoughts, like surrounding yourself with like that person is not a friend to you at this point in time. Like they're dealing with other things. And I think that like while you do have the relationship between you and this person, like you really have to take a step back and look at like, is this affecting me on another level? Because I don't think I can be a friend to this person because they're not responding in the way that I like. And if that's the case, like maybe at this point in time, you can't be friends with them.
Some people are sort of, there's a hole at the bottom of their cup, and you just keep pouring all this love into it, and it's just seeping out, and it can drain you. So she needs to kind of cover up her own hole so that she can hold on to the love for herself. Victoria?
I
no?
didn't say anything.
You're just like, yeah, Weezy, the wisdom that you spew forth is just filling my cup.
I feel it right here.
Wow, you are just so inspiring. Mozart.
Was it me or?
Yeah.
No, she said.
I'm pointing at you.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say this is kind of I actually like saw this on like Tumblr or something.
That's the best place to see things.
Of course you did.
And I told you about this lyric. I told you about this. It's called "The Pretty Moment."
Ah.
And do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like when you're just like hanging out with your friend in like everyday life. If they're doing something that they're just like beautiful in that moment, just doing it, and they're like not trying to be, but and like they're not aware, you just say "pretty moment." And I think it really helps because it helps to show that you're really pretty even when you're not trying to be and when you're just being yourself.
I love that so much. And it's like, remember when I just told Victoria that she was adorable? It's just like, I just felt it, so I said it. and you're all adorable, like you're all completely my loves. But, you know, in a moment like that, I think we can practice that on the show. You know, so pretty moment.
Pretty moment.
Pretty moment.
Kenneth.
Okay, so
Pretty moment.
Pretty moment. Oh my God.
Kenneth, you have never been prettier.
Oh, I thought you were
Kenneth,
gonna
what'd you do to get all
I
dolled up
Your
tonight?
prettiest
I thought she was
moment.
gonna say you've never been
Your
pretty.
Prettiest moment. to
Kenneth,
date.
you've never been pretty.
forgot
Please
what I
put
was
this
gonna say
down.
now. Like,
Kenneth.
So
oh my
overwhelmed.
God.
question.
This is your
but-
prettiest moment to date.
So about insecurity, the best thing that you can do here is just, if you've been trying for a long time to tell your friend, you know, that they're pretty, and they're like, oh, I'm just like so ugly, and
they
like,
always turn into Napoleon
I love your
Dynamite
voice.
whenever
I
they feel
love that
insecure.
I'm just
voice.
saying, like, it comes to a point where you have to be like upfront with them and be like, there's one thing that I heard. It's like the prettiest people are the people who smile. And
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that
So-
is a
Am
good
I
one.
pretty now?
that and
Am I a pretty girl?
It's not ready right now.
Kenneth, this is the best answer I've ever heard.
and I just think that the best thing to do here is be upfront with them and be like, you need to just think more about how when you feel insecure about yourself, it portrays like that image that you see of yourself reflects onto the way that other people look at you.
Yeah, and how about spend a moment making someone else feel pretty and take the focus off of yourself?
Yeah, but just make sure that this person, that it's not all about looks, and that sometimes the more you ask that, the less you don't. It makes you look bad in a way.
Well, it's
if
kind
you
of like
continue to ask
fishing for
that.
compliments.
Exactly.
If you do it repeat, and so what I would say to your friend is like, spend at least one moment a day giving someone else a pretty moment. Get out of your own head. Lyric?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all insecure, and
I am not.
I went. You're the most
I'm
confident.
really
I know
good.
everyone but Weezy is really is really insecure. You know, when I went to I was visiting many plastic surgeons when I was gonna, get my mole removed, and this one guy who's, a major plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills said, I get all the models, and they're like most beautiful people ever, and they all want me to change their nose and their lips and whatever, everything. I mean, even those people have insecurities, and so I think that if you can help your friend to see that and just to be like, even like the most beautiful people have insecurities, like that's normal, just to make them feel like it's okay. And then just like one more thing, I think we've said this before a lot, but I think there's only a certain point where you can try to help your friend, and it's gonna just come down to them. You can support them, but it's not your responsibility. I mean, it's sweet of you to want to help them, but it's not your place entirely.
It's not your obligation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's riding
But
too
it's-
much on you.
But it's sweet that you're trying to help her.
for sure.
Victoria.
I
I mean, I think a lot of people say this, that even the people in the magazines don't look like the people in the magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The best plastic surgeon is called
Photoshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
They
also the best
photoshopped a
face
pizza.
tune. Best makeup.
No, they photoshopped a pizza into a woman. Like, they made it look like a
was-
woman in a bikini.
That was
Oh, wow.
college
Have you
humor,
seen-
and
we
that
have
is
to-
not a real thing.
No, it wasn't
But
college humor.
Next question.
Humor.
We have to jump really quick
College
because we're
humor.
going to get to a soundbite that Matt has queued up, and it had to do with a Georgia high school student who was reduced to
Yes.
tears during a recent interview after recalling what she says her teacher said to her in front of Shania Hunter, a junior at Greene County High School. She was recording her lessons on her school-issued iPad in December when she says that the teacher said these things to her, and it's all recorded. And Matt, are you ready with that soundbite? So here's what happened. Well, it was ready. I can talk, and Matt, you're very pretty.
Talk amongst yourselves.
And paint to
Have I told you?
painting, phone to phone, right to the harmony. You can do it with your
It works
doing
now.
it with you.
It works now.
Lyric, you sing
It is
pretty.
done. It is working.
You sing pretty, Lyric.
Oh, is it not?
Pretty moment lyric.
We can
Forgot
talk
now.
amongst
Pretty
ourselves.
moment, lyric.
Pretty moment.
It's my birthday.
All right, so, well, I can tell you what he said. Oh, here it is. Ready?
Channel 2's Ricky Klaus reports from Greene County, where she spoke with the family right before.
Been around 37 years, and clearly, you are the dumbest girl that I have ever met.
Hunter was recording a lesson on a school-issued iPad when she says the teacher said things about her she'll never forget.
You know what your purpose gonna be? To have sex and have children, because you ain't gonna never be smart.
It really.
Wow. So can you believe that a teacher said that?
I didn't even hear it. Like,
You know
I
what your
didn't
purpose is?
understand
This
it.
is what he said. You know what your purpose is? To have sex and to have children.
And then he said,
And
'Cause-
you're the dumbest person.
and then he
I've
said in less than proper English, you're not smart. So
ever- who's the one who's not smart?
The person
in this
who isn't
situation?
smart is the person who A, would say something like that to a child, B, doesn't use good grammar. Sorry, but you're a teacher. You should have better grammar. And D, doesn't understand that the kid has a school-issued iPad and you may be recorded. So who's not smart in the room? And all we can do to say to Shania is, you know, God bless you because you're a sweetheart and you are smart because you were trying to learn your lesson and you were smart enough to record it so that you could go home and study it, and you're going to do wonderful things with your life. And we can't offer you any more than our support. But I do want to help you feel better by asking the panel if you've ever had teachers say things to you that made you just say, I cannot believe you're a teacher. How is this a thing? Lyric.
Okay, so once
Yeah.
I was at school. This was when I was younger. And this teacher, we were like writing our names on this board. And it was like a Jewish thing. And I wrote my name. And I wrote it bigger than God's name. Just like not thinking, because God's name was like really small. And I like wrote it bigger, not thinking I was in like first grade. And I am pretty sure that the teacher said to me, now maybe I just heard this. She said like, stupid Lyric. And I still to this day think that's what she said. Maybe that isn't, and she said that's not what she said. But I was just like, that has always kind of stuck with me and been like if she actually did say that, like I just feel horrible, you know, because like I was just a kid making a mistake, and like I just think that this is such a horrible situation, but it's actually good in a certain way because she is bringing awareness to the world and awareness to everyone about this that's going on in schools. I mean, isn't that fantastic? So I know, I'm sorry that you've had to have been through this, but you are helping America.
Yeah, you're helping
America.
You're helping the world.
America.
Lyric and a bald eagle.
Yeah, exactly.
When you have the honor of teaching children, you are obligated to lift them up. And if there's something going on in your head that makes you feel like the only way that you can feel better and less frustrated is to put down a child, then you just need to have another profession, go work at the DMV where they get to be mean to people.
Do
No,
that.
I'm just kidding.
Please.
Victoria.
No, he can go first.
Josh.
So I've never had any situation like that I can recall myself in particular like happened to me. But I'm not surprised that this happened, and I've seen things like, for me, everything that I've seen hasn't necessarily been direct statements like that, but it's been like someone's says like, oh yeah, I was reading this book at home last night, and the teacher would just be like, you read, kind of like a question, sarcastic kind of thing.
It's meant to be little.
So, but it wasn't like as direct as what this teacher has done, and I just know I'm not surprised though. Victoria.
Okay, so we all know that I'm homeschooled, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I go on set, so there's set teachers.
Oh,
well,
God.
One teacher was, I don't know what her problem was that day, but she kept saying mean things like, homeschoolers don't make it in life, homeschoolers don't go to good colleges, homeschoolers are so stupid. She kept saying that over and over again, and she didn't know half of the table was homeschoolers, and I was kind of offended by that, so I was like, excuse me, but I'm homeschooled, and that hurts my feelings. And then she started yelling at me. Yeah, in front of, and it was not like it was just a small like school area. No, it was a stage. It was it was like an auditorium, and there's teachers all over the place because there's a certain amount of teachers that have to be with 10 kids each. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of kids there, and she started yelling at me in front of all those people, and it just embarrassed me so much. So I went to the restroom. I didn't run, but I went to the restroom because I was getting so mad. I wanted to yell at her, but I knew I didn't want to stoop down to her level. I didn't. So what happened was I had to literally talk to her.
Yeah, you got the dropsies.
Go ahead.
I literally had to talk to her like I was talking to my little sisters about how you're not supposed to say whatever's on your mind.
Wow.
And she was like, oh, well, I was not just saying things on my mind. Like, it was kind of like that. And I was like, are you kidding me? And there's another teacher there. She's sitting there watching me. She said that this is not the first time.
Wow.
She did that twice to other people, but this time she actually like made me like want to cry, and
I feel like
I was really, really, really mad. And she kept saying like, "Oh, I didn't mean that all homeschoolers were stupid. I didn't think that you were a homeschooler. You didn't seem like one. What is that supposed to mean?"
Oh my gosh.
I'm homeschooled too.
I know.
Like,
it's. She was like, because what happened was I told her that I have dyslexia, so it's hard for me to read. And I didn't want to read in front of them, so she was like, oh, you can't read, blah, blah, blah. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it was really, really awful.
I'm really sorry that happened to you. That's not okay. Kenneth.
Yeah, it makes me really sad that a lot of us have those type of stories. And, like, this is a real issue. For me, it was in a report card meeting with my 5th grade teacher. And I remember, like, she didn't like me very much. And I missed a day of school. And I remember at the report card meeting with my mom, she was like, oh, she was just saying a bunch of bad things about me. And then she was like, oh, and I remember, like, the one day that you weren't here when you were sick, the whole class was just like, thank God that you were not here.
Oh, no.
And I remember, like, tearing up, and I was, like, I cried a little bit. And then I looked up for, like, a second, and I saw her roll her eyes, and I was like,
wow.
Oh, my God, I hate you so much.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
That is not.
My stories aren't as bad as that one. I'm sorry that happened to you. Oh my God. I actually have like a bunch of stories like that. There was I went to school in Asia, and it was like a private school, but I was the only Caucasian person in the entire school, and I was also the youngest. And I was in our homeroom teacher hated me. I don't know why she hated me, but she did. And I was like always a naturally like inquisitive child, but she would always put me down when I asked questions, and I would always feel bad. And like ever since then, I've kind of become less inquisitive, not like on purpose, but just because of what happened. I've just become a less inquisitive person. And I remember this incident happened to me. And I remember talking, to my parents about it, and then they talked to the school about it. And she always thought that I was lying about it, and she thought she would call me a liar. And I was in this one class, but I had to be moved to another class because of this. And when I would go near that class,
the kids in the class would tell me that I wasn't allowed to go into their classroom because she didn't want me, or something like she didn't want me making anything else bad happen, when in reality, like, what had happened, like, I had been the victim.
Or it was all her.
Yeah, and I had been the victim in this incident.
Of course, you're a child.
Yeah, and she had thought that I was lying about it, and so she would not let me go into the classroom because she didn't want anything bad to happen to any of the other students because of me.
Wow, that's not acceptable. We're going to go to our song. With that story, I just want everybody to feel empowered. If your teacher is making you feel bad about yourself, tell your parents, please, because your parents send you off to school every day. They want to know that you're okay. So it's a good idea to come home and say, this teacher kind of is belittling me, even if it's just eye rolling or those kind of comments that Josh was referring to, which I think go on more often than anybody really realizes. Because your parents can probably remember when a teacher spoke to them that way. I certainly have my stories, which one day I'll share in a volume.
Story time with Reezy.
Story time with Reezy. But right now we're going to do a song with Mozart. Do you want to stand up and sing, or do you want to?
I'm good.
You're good? Yeah. All right. Do you want to set this up for everybody?
All right. So this is another original song, and it's called You're Not Alone. And I wrote this song about human trafficking because I was really moved by the subject, and I was really shocked to find out that I wrote this when I was 14, and I had found out that the average age of victims in human trafficking are 14-year-old girls.
Can you explain what human trafficking is? Because a lot of young kids aren't even aware that this exists.
Well, human trafficking is basically like sex trafficking, where people kidnap girls and sometimes boys, and they sell them to people who in turn sell them to other people for sex.
I don't want people listening to the show to think that someone's going to come into your home and kidnap you and sell you for sex. It's not not going to happen to you.
But it does happen a lot.
It happens in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Or if you're talking to someone you don't know online and you agree to go meet him somewhere. So, be safe online. But if you're safe online, and it's not going to happen to you. I don't want people to get panicky.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Don't freak out.
Yeah, so go ahead.
So yeah, I wrote this song, and I actually performed it in front of Dallas Lovato, who is Demi Lovato's sister, and she wanted to put it in. She's co-starring in a film called Caged, which is about human trafficking, and she wanted to put it in the soundtrack of the film. It's going to be a 3-part film series, a trilogy. And unfortunately, we did not have enough time to put it in the first one, but it may go in the second or third one, so that's exciting. And
very exciting.
Yeah, so this is You're Not Alone.
Yay, give it up for Mozart.
There's a girl somewhere, and she's scared for tomorrow. There's a place where she goes, in her heart, in her mind, in her soul. She calls it home. She calls it home. Skies of blue shining through in your eyes, in your eyes. Skies of blue shining through in your eyes, in your eyes. Welcome home. You're not alone. I see fire in you. I see fight seeping through. See the light you create. It's no crime to be afraid of what will come. skies of blue shining through in your eyes, in your eyes, skies of blue shining through in your eyes, in your eyes. Welcome home. You're not alone. Just be brave and have faith. Your time will come someday. You'll be saved. Don't be afraid, not anymore. Welcome home. You're not alone. Thank you.
Wow. That was powerful. Thank you so much, Mozart, for being our musical guest. And I have today credits. Give it up for the panel. Josh, Victoria, Lyric, Kenneth. Thank you, Patricia Bach, Matt Sigmund, Justin Liebens, Andrew Kolb, Aaron Bach, and Harry Waxberg. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Woo!